It's Andy again from the Egocast channel, and I'm here with Brandon.
Hello.
Brandon is my boyfriend. He is also a father, not with my children, with his wife's children, but we don't tell her about our relationship. So,
yeah, we do.
Brandon has no idea what this video is.
No idea.
He's never seen it before. I haven't given him any notice on it whatsoever. But he is a father, and this directly relates to extremely young children. So I want to get his viewpoint and opinion on what is being said in this video. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Welcome to Queer Kid Stuff. I'm Lindsay, and this is my best friend, Teddy.
All right. Based off of this alone, what age group do you think that she is targeting?
I would say kindergarten to third grade. Maybe.
Kindergarten, so
yeah.
5 to what, 8?
Yeah.
5 to 8. Her demographic is actually 3 to 7.
Okay.
So she's looking for 3-year-olds and 7-year-olds. Your kids are, I don't know if you want to say too much about your children.
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5. So your children are 3.5. So this is her wheelhouse.
Okay.
This is the get them young, right where. Would the ultimate question at the end of the day after this video is going to be, would you allow your children to watch this?
Sure, I figured as much.
All right.
Okay. What was it called? Queer Kids something?
Queer Kid Stuff.
Queer Kid Stuff.
Today, we're talking about the T in LGBT.
Talking about the T in LGBT.
Okay.
Now, right off of this, is this something that you would think is appropriate for your children to watch?
At 3.5 years old?
3 to 7.
Well, okay. So let me.
3.5. So yeah, 3.5 years old.
I would say just talking about it in context with my with my kids. No, because they would not understand.
Because they're not sexualized in any manner.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't understand what this is even
because they
about.
have no idea about sexual behaviors, or things of this nature.
Not even just that, like sexual orientation in and of itself, like not just sexualized behaviors.
So you
like
don't think that your children could have a different sexual orientation than they were given at birth? As 3-year-olds.
I don't think that they would identify with that now.
That they wouldn't identify with any gender, really.
If they, right? I mean, my son now, he loves to dress up in his sister's dresses, like princess dresses.
But that doesn't make him a transgendered person.
No, he just thinks it's fun.
Now, are you sure that doesn't make him a transgendered person?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But
you just don't think that's something that factors into a child's thinking.
Not at this age. That's my impression at this age.
Even up to 7? Do you think even at 7?
I don't know enough to know, but I don't know.
At 7 years old, were you thinking about sexuality in this degree?
No, I don't think so. But at the same time, like, we live in a different time, so their exposure to this stuff is a little more normalized now.
It can be argued that their exposure is based on what their parents allow them to see.
Sure.
So,
well, and then at the same time, you're talking about the difference between nature versus nurture anyway. And which side of that coin do you even fall on? So, I'm speaking about this strictly from
a more liberal point of view.
Well, and not just that.
He's more liberal, way more liberal than I am, right? That's fair to...
Sure, I would say that.
To throw out there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the reason why I have Brandon involved in this, because he is a lot more liberal than I am, and this is a lot more liberal topic.
I would have said more along the lines of, because, like you said, I have kids that would fit in this age group, and that's where the perspective I'm coming from.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's another part of the reason why I wanted you on this. All right, but so far, this isn't something you would show your 3.5-year-olds.
No.
Would you allow a 7-year-old? I mean, throwing yourself into 3.5 years into the future.
I mean, at this point, I don't know, because I've only seen, 30 seconds of the video, pretty much?
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Welcome to the final part of our 4-part series, breaking down the letters in LGBT.
Now, I wanted to stop it here, because if you notice on the chalkboard, it says LGQT.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up as well. Like, I didn't...
So, already...
Is it, just bad production value at this point?
I would say that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready, Teddy?
Ready.
Now, she's talking... She's talking to a teddy bear that's talking back to her. Right?
Let me just say, that has been the best case scenario for me to actually show this video to my kids so far. Like, I love that there's a teddy bear that talks back
because
a little
it's
bit.
unrealistic. Right? Not because this bear has got some fucking rockin' points.
No.
But because purely based on no matter what he said.
Let me tell you this right now. If you're showing your kids anything because whatever it is you're showing them has rockin' points and they're 3.5 years old, you are going to be very disappointed at the outcome. Fair enough.
Okay, today we are talking about the fourth letter, T. T stands for trans or transgender.
Ooh, that's a cool new word.
So that's a cool new word.
Now, let me just say, there was a little bit of nerves going into you showing me this video. I'm pleasantly surprised.
I told you it was going to be not what you thought. So we got the teddy bear saying the trans and transgender. That's some cool new words. Now, are these words that you think a child between the ages of 3 to 7 should not only know, because knowing words for a child is a good thing. The more of the language we know, the broader our ideas get. Right?
Sure. Okay, I'll agree with that.
But for 3 to 7, is this a topic that children need to bother to be taught?
I mean, 7 years old, I don't know. I mean, I would say probably any younger than 5, no.
Okay.
That's just
that's
my feeling.
5 years old is when you think it's appropriate to begin teaching children about sexuality.
Well, but I think that the bigger point would be teaching kids that there are people who are out there who are different. That is where I would come from with this conversation.
Not sexuality. Not sexually.
I would talk about it in a different way, like...
Because gender, for the most part, isn't so much different people. Races, Asians, black, things of that nature. Yeah. That would be more of a... Different people type of discussion. Mm-hmm. But gender, some men like to dress up as women. Mm-hmm. Do you think that going into that aspect of it might be confusing for a child?
Oh, sure, it would be. Yeah, absolutely, it would be confusing. Yeah, but I don't think having a confusing topic of discussion though is something that would necessarily keep you
negate the fact that the discussion needs to happen.
Well, sure. Yeah, I would say that.
Understand.
Yeah. Definitely, Teddy. Let's get into it. Do you have any siblings, Teddy?
Do you have any siblings? Now, she said we're going to talk about trans and transgendered, and now she asked the bear if he has any siblings. So, right off the bat, utterly cold. In what direction do you think ultimately the point of this is going to go?
I think the bear has siblings.
Fair enough. But I mean, we're discussing trans and transgendered. Where ultimately do you think... Because I'm going to tell you that where it winds up is not anywhere where you're going to think...
Oh, the suspense is killing me.
Where do you think the ultimate lesson to be learned from this through asking the teddy bear? We're going to talk about trans and transgender pizza people. Do you have any...
I want to talk about transgendered pizza.
Right.
Can we talk about that?
No.
Next show? Next show. Let's make a transgendered pizza show.
I'm gonna write it on the whiteboard. So, transgendered people...
I love that you said pizza.
That's the topic we're talking about. Yeah. Do you have any siblings? Where do you think that question is going to ultimately lead?
If I had to guess, I would say that there are transgendered people in your family that you didn't even know about.
Sure! That sounds reasonable!
Yes, I have a little baby bear brother.
And I have a little sister. Do you remember when your little baby bear brother was born?
Okay.
Do you remember when your little baby sister was born?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Do you still think this is where we're going? There might be people in your family that are transgender?
I'm thinking it's probably not, but...
Yeah.
Well, do you remember the very first thing you learned about the new baby bear in your life?
That he cried a lot?
Now, for a child, right?
Yeah.
If you were to ask a child, what do you remember about your baby brother or sister being born? They cried a lot. That's
Logical.
utterly logical.
Yeah.
Why is that utterly logical?
Because that's that's the first thing you would perceive is crying or
Exactly.
how they feel or something. Yeah.
So a child, they don't work off of the deeper things in life. They work real on the surface, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're about to teach children why they're wrong.
No, Teddy. You probably learned that your little baby bear brother was your little baby bear brother. That your new sibling was a boy.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely it.
See, oh yeah! Now that you've told me what to think, of course, yes. Is it starting to register that this might possibly be harmful to children yet?
Well, this is
It's kind of pseudo brainwashing.
Yeah. I mean, but this is a dumb video. I can already tell. Like,
Sure.
it's a dumb, preachy.
But you are
video.
36,
Yeah.
and your children are 3.5. Mm-hmm. Do you think that with what you're seeing, right, and with what you've heard so far, that your children, 3 to 7, would think along the same lines as you as, oh, this is just a ridiculous video?
No, probably not. You're right. Yeah.
So inherently, this is kind of a problem in the way that it's being... I'm leading you with my question,
I know, yeah.
but...
I know you are.
Right?
I know you are. I'm here to say, I'm with you so far.
All right, so far. Well, it gets a lot better.
I'm waiting for you to say something crazy, though.
I'm not going to say anything crazy.
That's the very first thing doctors tell you when a new baby is born, whether they're human or bear. They tell parents that their baby is a boy or a girl. That's called a gender assignment.
Why is it on the card anyway? Like, they're opening, like, they say that the doctor tells you, oh, and here's this cute card.
But that's a gender assignment.
Oh.
The doctor is assigning that child their gender
Yeah.
based on nothing other than the doctor's assignment of that gender. So you were assigned your gender as a boy because of your doctor who said this person will be a boy.
Right.
That's their gender
That's how it
assignment.
happens.
It has nothing to do with the fact of them having a penis or a vagina.
Right.
It's just the doctor said this is this child's assignment.
Yeah, it's not true, but okay. Yes.
But that's what she's saying.
I know.
I'm not saying.
I get it.
Just wait. It gets better.
All right.
When doctors announce that babies are boys and girls.
But now I'm confused.
Now the bear is confused.
Well, yeah, he's confused. He thought, like, kids just cry a lot.
And now they're being assigned this
must have
arbitrary
been-
thing by some doctor.
Were they assigned crying, too? Sure seems like they were.
Probably. But now we're confused because doctors assign gender to children. That's confusing.
When we talked about gender, we said that there aren't just boys and girls.
There aren't just boys and girls.
Goats?
So what other genders are there? You got a penis, you're a boy. You got a vagina, you're a girl. But there are other genders.
A hermaphrodite?
Which is technically a joining of boy and girl.
Okay.
That is another gender. It's exceptionally rare.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
But yet, Bear and her talked about how there's more than one gender.
Did they, though? I don't remember them talking about that
Well,
part. Yeah.
this is like the 10th video in the series. They've done a lot of other videos.
Oh,
I'm cherry picking the specific video because
Oh.
this one was good for you, I think.
Okay.
But so, what other genders do you think there are?
Cincinnati Bengals.
So really manly men, gotcha. And then like the Browns, the really girly girls.
Oh, cheap shit.
It's not that cheap when they lose every game.
You have a really great memory, Teddy. You're right. There's something a bit weird about how doctors assign gender to babies.
Mm-hmm. There's something a bit weird about how doctors assign gender to babies. Now, you had a boy and a girl.
I did, yeah.
Yes. And was it odd how the doctor assigned the gender to your children?
You know, it's funny. I don't remember them. And actually, it wasn't even the doctor. It was the first time we heard what we were having. It was the whoever does the ultrasound. Yeah, the ultrasound.
So it wasn't even the doctor that assigned the gender.
Nurse,
it was somebody long before your children were even born that decided what gender your children were.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how that happens, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Isn't that fucking weird how that happens?
That's because there aren't only boys and girls, and because not all people identify with their assigned gender.
So there's more than just boys and girls, and some people don't identify with their assigned gender.
Okay.
But that's what's so confusing about this, right? Because doctors assign gender.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nature that assigns gender. It's doctors that assign gender.
Right.
Isn't it weird how doctors would only assign 2 genders if there's all these other genders? Think about the implications of all this on your children.
It seems
you know
that
what I'm
like
saying?
that. I mean, I'm a big purveyor of science and scientific method, and it seems like that would be counterintuitive in the face of the scientific method. Because if the hypothesis is there's more than 2 genders,
it has to be proven.
Prove it. Yeah. You prove it.
Well, transgender people, they prove that there's more than 2 genders because they don't identify. Isn't that part of the scientific method? If somebody's opinion,
but that's opinion
is different
versus
than
fact.
What fact is? But that's part of the scientific method, isn't it?
That fact and opinion exist? Okay, I'll give you that, but
my hypothesis is that your opinion's fucking retarded, and I can prove it scientifically, so here we go.
Ding!
Oh, so the doctors are wrong sometimes?
Let me tell you this. Every video I watch from here on out, I want that fucking bear. I want that bear.
I might think about taking that one line.
That bear. That is a good one. That should go on. That should go on like your like the opening. Like
doctors are sometimes wrong.
Oh, you mean sometimes doctors are wrong?
But so
that is a good line.
Your 3.5-year-old has been to a doctor how many times?
Oh God. Many
for shots.
Yeah.
Necessary procedures.
Let's say 50 times.
For necessary procedures.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all before the age of reason.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now 3 to 7 children are beginning to get into the age of reason.
Yep.
So, but they're still very influenced by things that they see and hear.
Sure.
Because they don't
know.
Have greater perspective.
Right.
So to tell a 3 to 7-year-old that sometimes doctors can be wrong. Harmful or helpful? Like, this is ultimately where this has gone. Remember what I said? Where do you think this is going to wind up going?
Well, okay.
Doctors are sometimes wrong.
Well,
that's where this is ultimately going.
I'll say this, though. I'll say this. Like, but that's not the... Well... okay.
She didn't say that sometimes doctors are wrong.
The bear did.
The bear told you. Psychologically, think of that.
Yeah.
If an adult tells a child something, it's coming from an adult. And children, as is their nature, they generally are extremely skeptical towards what adults tell them because there's just that degree of distrust that's fostered between you have to go to bed at this time, you have to eat your vegetables. Adults are telling children all of these things that they don't want to do that they have to do.
Okay.
So now you've got a teddy bear telling you that sometimes doctors are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that your children would be far more likely to believe the bear or that girl that doctors are sometimes wrong?
I think my kids would have turned this video off a long time ago.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's just a child psychology.
Well, but the idea of saying that sometimes doctors are wrong, when you talk about, the age, being of the age of reason, that idea isn't a bad idea to have necessarily. Now, talking about that in this context, though, I think it's flawed.
Because your child's
sure.
going to see this, and then every time you send them to the doctor for anything, they're going to be like, well, the teddy bear on that show said that doctors are sometimes wrong. I think I'm a girl. You know what I mean? Like, do you see this as kind of inherently harmful?
Well, but I think the times where kids are actually going to go to, like, make that leap, though, are going to be two things. Highly publicized, but rarely happening. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, but that's...
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right at all. But I'm just saying, like, if that's the cause and effect, I guess, or the effect of something like this, okay, yeah, you're probably going to have more people doing it, saying that doctors are wrong for some silly reason. But
because there's a lot of parents that say that doctors are wrong about inoculations.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we have polio coming back in California and whooping cough coming back around the world.
Yeah.
And all of these diseases that we thought were gone.
Yep.
And now they're coming back because sometimes doctors are wrong.
Yeah.
And inoculations cause autism. And so now we shouldn't have inoculations for children because they might be autistic for the rest of their life, which could be a very long time, or they're going to get polio and die young because
sometimes.
So this is the sometimes doctors are wrong thing.
Well, that whole okay.
And these are adults that are doing that to their poor children.
But I still think there's merit in taking it in
context. I would say
in
that there's merit in getting a second opinion.
Okay.
But to say that a doctor is wrong sometimes because they assigned gender improperly. Now, we're watching this in clippets and we're talking in between it, but to see this full on, for a child, they're going to relate, my doctor told me that I'm a boy. And doctors are sometimes wrong, so it's entirely possible I might not be a boy. It's the get them while they're young philosophy.
Well, okay.
Right?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
brainwashing. Well, there's a lot of things that kids are brainwashed with, though, too.
But do you think
not just this, like this? If anything,
but this is harmful, though. Like all of the statistics that the LGBTQAST plus whatever fucking community they all want to tout at you is that there's such a high rate of suicide with transgendered people. So let's confuse them at 3 to 7 as opposed to confusing them at 12 to 17, like is what's more commonly done. Let's make them confused earlier in their lives so that the problems will be exacerbated later. That's what I'm saying this is doing. If somebody comes around the thought of maybe I'm not the gender that I think I am at 15, 16, they're only suffering with that for 2-3 years before they get out into the actual world. And they either find more suffering because of it, but at least they have a 15 to 16 year base of rationality and reasoned thinking and education put into them to where maybe they can cope with that sort of thing better.
Well, the argument would be, though, that the powers that have always been don't help them cope with it. Because you talked about the suicide rate being so
like
high.
Parents don't help.
They might not in some cases. Parents might make it worse.
Do you think this makes things worse or better?
I don't think it. I don't think when showing this to the 8, and I don't even know, seeing this cold, I don't know if this is who it's geared towards. You're telling me it's geared towards 3 to 7 year olds. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the right age group. No, I disagree.
What do you think this would be more appropriate?
Well, if I saw this at like 12 or 13, I would have laughed it out of the room anyway.
But if it was done a little, I mean, not with the crayons and the teddy bear and the chalkboard and all that nonsense. If it was done more appropriately at a higher age.
Well, I think there's a certain level. I think the misinformation about doctors
assigning gender.
Yes, I think that has
more damning consequences than saying doctors are sometimes wrong.
I think that are the way they're formulating their argument is wrong. Because I think there is something to be said about accepting people who are transgendered. Sure.
But I'm not saying that accepting people is wrong.
But I think I respectfully disagree with what they have to say about.
Well, there's a difference between accepting people if they say I'm not male or female or whatever. You can go, okay, well that's kind of silly, but whatever. I still accept you as a person. But teaching children that they can be one thing or another, that's not accepting somebody for their differences. That's attempting to push my differences onto you, right?
It doesn't seem like that's necessarily what they're trying to do with this video.
But transgender's a really cool word.
Okay.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though? You tell a child more often than not, this is really cool, this is really cool, this is what... You know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when we were kids, were really cool. Mm-hmm. Did you ever want to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Hell yeah.
Was it because they were really cool?
Yeah.
Transgender is a really cool word.
But at the same time, I knew enough to know I can't be a turtle.
But you can certainly say that you're a girl if you want to. That's a much easier obtainable goal to be cool.
If they can figure out a way. Now, here's the thing. They're the real marketing that should be... If I'm sitting where you are, I'm scared. If they can figure out a way to make transgendered Ninja Turtles and make that a video, then
Bugs Bunny, he dressed up like a girl all the time.
He's not a Ninja Turtle though. Come on,
well, Bugs Bunny was pretty fucking.
He duped Elmer Fudd. Come on, I want to dupe.
But he also duped Daffy Duck at the same time.
And I can dupe Shredder.
Duck Day, Rabbit Day. You ever see that fucking thing?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Great fucking classic. Duck season, Rabbit season. All right, let's go to the next part.
Keep going.
But that for me. You mean that doctors are sometimes wrong? That made me go, because then here's what I see from that. Here's my precognition of the future. Child that sees that and finds out doctors are sometimes wrong. They get sick. They're told you have to take this medication. Doctors are sometimes wrong. I don't like the taste of this medication. I ain't taking it.
Mm-hmm. Which kids are going to think anyway, regardless of what they see in this video.
So now, since you're forcing me to take the medication, you're an ass. You know what I mean? Like
I think
everything stacks. It's a house.
Well,
it all stacks on top of itself.
Yeah, but the thing that ends up holding true in the end, though, is knowledge and wisdom. Knowing that, okay, if I keep taking that medication, I'm not going to get sick. Because I was sick one time, and it fucking sucked.
If statistically... this is your babysitter.
If anything, this is social Darwinism. Right then and there.
I almost want to fucking finish the video.
Yes, Teddy. Yes, Teddy. Sometimes doctors don't assign the right genders.
Yeah, hey, we've been over it and over it and over it.
Sometimes doctors don't assign the right genders. further fueling you might not be a boy. Mm. You might have been lied to all of your life by your parents, doctors.
When a person does not identify with the gender they're assigned when they're born, they are trans or transgender. People who are trans can be boys or girls or people too.
And I can always ask someone their pronoun, just like you taught me.
Ask someone their pronoun. One of the first things.
Hey, what's your pronoun?
Right.
That's a thing? I didn't know that was a thing.
That is a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Now when you meet new people...
I don't mean to laugh and sound insensitive
liberal
about it, but...
This is why I got him.
I've never...
I wanted to see the tap dance.
No,
I don't mean to be insensitive about saying...
I've worked with trans people.
I haven't worked with them, but I've met quite a few trans people.
Yeah, there's a few people at my place of business who shall remain nameless.
Good, thank you for the editing. Thanks for the nod for the editing.
But yeah, plenty of people who I've interacted with. Never have I once. I've only talked to them or talked about them in terms of their name. Mm-hmm. Never their pronoun. That's a new thing.
You've never said he's going to go and do this later.
If anything, I would have said they or them. So I would have taken like the plural.
Well,
but it still works in the singular.
You can still get in trouble for that with people that are transgendered because they might say, "You don't call me them. I'm a girl. I'm a girl. God damn it." So you should ask one of the first questions that you ask somebody when you meet them is, well, what is your pronoun? These are the agendas that are being pushed.
But that's the thing. Like, it works both ways then. If you want me to say that, then you should have said that to me. So if you're going to get pissed about that, then...
Because you see, the problem is you're a white cis male. So you shouldn't have as many rights.
I am.
You shouldn't have as many rights as other people.
Well, that's not equality, though.
Again, I'm almost tempted to just finish the video on that one. But we've still got a little bit more.
That's right, Teddy. There's also another word you should know. It's the word cisgender.
Now, see, I was happy about this because I had, until right now, until when I watched this point in the video before, I had no idea what cisgendered meant. I had no fucking clue. It was a word that I had heard that was bandied around, and I had no idea what it meant. I knew that I was it, but I didn't know why I was it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was one of those things. I know I'm cisgendered, but I don't know why, because in the context which led me to believe that is that everybody that disagreed with what these people say, they're all cisgendered. It was like an insult. Oh, you're just cisgendered. You know what I mean? So I knew that the insult applied to me because I disagreed fundamentally with almost everything these people said.
Yeah.
So I knew I was cisgendered. I just didn't know why. I had no idea what it meant. So we're about to learn what that means. I thought this was very educational.
Someone who is cisgender does identify with the gender they're assigned.
So in case you weren't aware,
so the majority
slur
was
what made me understand that I am what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Cis is almost used as a slur nowadays.
I've never heard that once in my life, though.
Gender, sexism, genderism, whatever the fuck they call it. Mm-hmm. Racism, I don't know. That's what led me to understand that I was an oppressed. You know how crazy that is? That's like somebody growing up black and not finding out until 37 that being black was viewed as a bad thing by other people. Isn't that crazy to think of?
Well, I don't know. Your argument's kind of weird, but
what do you mean?
Well, growing up knowing that...
No, I'm saying comparatively. Not finding out until 37 what this cisgendered means, and that I'm cisgendered, and that's seen as bad.
Okay.
That's like somebody growing up black and not finding out until 37 that they're black, and that's bad. Like that's viewed as bad by other people.
By some people.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I had no idea that I was such a piece of shit because I was cis.
It seems,
and it's based on nothing more than the fact that I defy as male.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what makes me that slur, because I defy as male.
What you've been assigned.
If a black person decided they wanted to define themselves as white, that doesn't apply. But I can say, well, I see myself as a girl, and automatically my slur is taken from me. I'm not cis anymore.
You're trans.
Trans.
You're trans.
Or whatever. Pangender. I don't even know what the fuck
that sounds cool. What's that?
That's a cool new word.
Okay. So since you were assigned girl and you use she, then you are cisgender.
That is exactly right, Ted.
Look at her. Does that look like somebody who defines themselves as a girl?
No.
So she's got to be one of the other 50 fucking random ass definitions. Right? She's got to put girls that dress up like guys. That's transvestite. Right?
Okay, but it's
a gender that likes to dress up as the opposite gender.
Yeah,
so she's a transvestite.
But she probably identifies as being a boy.
No, she just said she identifies as being a girl. She's a transvestite. She dresses like a boy. But she identifies as being a girl.
Okay. What? Hey, that's fine. Whatever they want to do.
It's confusing as fuck, though, isn't it? You know what I mean?
But it's not, because I don't care that much. Like, that's the thing. That's the difference between you and me. Like, you care way more. Look, I don't care. It doesn't. This doesn't bother me.
I care.
At the end of the day,
I care because I'm a YouTuber.
You're paid to care.
And I'm hoping to make money enough to be able to do this for a living someday. That's why I care.
There you go.
When I leave this studio, when I leave this apartment,
hashtag capitalism.
fucking A. When I leave this studio, when I leave this apartment, and I go out into the world, I can fuck less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But people like this lady,
Yeah.
they're trying to affect the thought process of children so that someday all of this nonsense
Yeah.
will become the standard of
All right,
life.
let me ask you this then. Should she not be allowed to say anything, though?
I'm not saying she shouldn't be allowed to.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, if you want to make this video, don't call it educational. She considers this educational.
Right.
Would you consider this educational?
No. No.
So
This is entertainment. It's entertainment.
So
no,
do you
right?
have a problem with her saying anything? No, of course not.
No.
It's the context in which you say things. If I tell you the sky's purple in a conversational tone, you can be like, well, you're crazy. The sky's blue. You go outside and look and see the sky's blue. But if I tell you that I'm a girl in an educational level, that wouldn't raise any questions. Why do you dress like a boy and have a beard and act like a boy and have titty pictures on your desktop? If you're going to say that you're a girl, why are you saying that you're a girl?
Pictures on your desktop.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid.
But by their rules, I can say that I'm a girl. And by their rules that they would like to have in place, their laws that they would like to have in place, because of the fact that I can say that I'm a girl, means I can go into the girls' restroom. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That opens like
What?
pedophiles
Well,
and rapists to be able to say,
Come on.
I'm going into this restroom because I identify as a girl, even though they might look like me.
Yeah.
And then they go into that restroom and just wait. Now, I'm not saying that's what will happen. What I'm saying is...
I'm saying I would think it would happen because it's happened before all of this anyway.
But they want to have that shit legislated to where now if I'm a man looking the way I do, and I go to stroll into the woman's restroom, if you try to stop me or confront me in any way, you're committing an illegal act. You're committing a crime.
I mean,
That was the law that was turned down in Arizona, where all of the people decided they were going to boycott Arizona. Or I think it was... I swear to God, I hope it was Arizona, because if I'm wrong, then I'm going to get called out on it. But nevertheless, in whatever state it was, where they threw down that bill, and everybody in the media and a lot of people were saying that that was bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't want to have it be illegal for you to stop visually definite men from going into women's bathrooms for whatever purpose they might be going in there for. Maybe they're just going in there to go to the bathroom. Maybe not. But they want to legislate the possibility that something vile and horrible could happen and make sure that you can't stop it.
But you can always stop something violent and horrible from happening.
But if you're trying to stop a man, but if these type of people had their way, if you tried to stop a man, somebody who is obviously and visually a man, from going into a woman's restroom, doesn't matter what the reason he's going into the woman's restroom is. You're breaking the law.
Somebody wouldn't be... If somebody were going into... Like, if you went into a woman's restroom right now, that's not breaking the law.
No.
No.
But if you tried to stop me under the laws that they want to have enacted, it would be illegal.
For me to stop you
For
from
you to
doing
stop
it.
me from doing it. Yes.
Well, okay, well...
For anybody to stop me from
call
doing
me
it.
Call me completely radical. I don't even know why there are different bathrooms anyway. But that's just me.
There are
That's just me.
in gas stations. There's one fucking room you go into and you lock the
Yeah.
door and it's done.
Yeah, there you go.
I agree, but the reason is because of cost. Because it's cheaper to put one room that has 5 urinals and 6 bathrooms than it is to have 10 toilets.
Yeah, I think though. I mean, when you talk
It's
about the
economy.
whole restroom debate thing, I mean, we're getting. It's went from one
Yeah,
thing to something
we've gone on to
else,
something else. But
yeah,
I'm
anyway.
saying that this kind of shit, this is to get them early in the philosophy to lead to later on down the road these things being enacted. Like right now, the bulwark against, this kind of legislating safe spaces, legislating safe.
Are they legislating safe spaces?
They're trying
legislating.
They're trying to. Yes, they're
Wow.
trying to make this a matter of legality.
Wow.
To where if I set up a safe space that is for anybody that isn't a white cis male, I can do that legally. And if a white cis male walks into that safe space, I can legally have him arrested.
Yeah.
That is what they're trying to legislate. And right now, rational thought is the only bulwark against this. But the Get 'em Young campaign. See why this is so damaging?
Well, I mean, I think most people though will see this, and this is where I agree with you in that you teach your kids about shit.
Mhm.
Because I hope one day, hopefully, maybe by the time they're 7 or 8, they can see something like this and they'll be able to say like,
This is nonsense.
I want to see that talking bear again because that bear's hilarious. That's what I want to have them say.
But if you start them on this at 3, they're never going to say that at 7. They're going to be like, rah, rah. This is exactly
Maybe
what
you're
I
right
think.
in some circumstances, but I just...
But if it only happens for 10% of the population, that's 10% of the population more that in their adulthood is going to be doing more of this kind of shit, which is going to sway another 10% of the population and another 10% of the population. And then this is no longer radical, ridiculous thought. This is common sense.
Well, I think... Okay, yeah, I mean, maybe...
That's how the thought
But-
policing, the thought police bullshit, that's how it turns into that. You convert the population by increments, and then slowly everybody just believes the way you do.
See,
It's not gonna happen in her
that
lifetime,
most
but-
people grow up and gain wisdom about people and things and stuff.
Boy, I don't know.
And I
last
think-
election really made me question that a lot.
But did it though?
Safe spaces
The outcome-
really makes me question that a lot.
The outcome of the election, though.
The
is-
outcome of the election, I think, was resounding. But remember, the outcome of the election is based off of our electoral college constitutional republic system, which the people that lost have been doing nothing but running campaigns to try and stop.
but that would have happened the same as if the other side won too.
Honestly,
It did when Obama was elected. It did when Bush
they
was
weren't
elected. and
talking
reelected.
about getting rid of the electoral college when Bush or
Well, when Bush won the first time, they were.
I don't remember that, so I can't.
Yeah.
I can't dispute.
Well, I mean, because Gore won the popular vote, but Bush won.
That's
the
right. That's
Electoral
right. That's
College.
right. That's right. So the only times that the electoral college ever comes up as a problem is whenever the candidate loses the popular vote, but they win the actual election.
That's a pretty good time to bring up that issue, though.
But
When it's the most.
But that's the reason
prevalent?
we're getting onto it.
Anyway, yeah, we are. We sure
Oh
are.
my god, we need to do a whole nother
I
video
need-
about it.
dude, we
It's
need
the
to stand-
19th. It is the electoral college vote is today, and that's why we are fucking going so far off. This is going to be a 3-hour long video.
We
oh
need
my
a
god.
transgendered pizza if we're going to go
let's
any more
finish
into
this video.
Lindsay, I'm really good at this gender stuff now.
You see, the bear's really good at the gender stuff now. He's got it. Doctors are sometimes wrong, and nobody's actually what they think they are until they think they are. Now I got it.
Okay, so now we want to know how you identify. You can let us know in the comments below.
And the last point that I have for that is that comments have been disabled. So you can't comment on this video.
Really, for real, in that video.
The reason why the comments have been disabled is because this lady, when she first came out with her channel, she had all manner of comments that were, "This is great. I'm showing this to my children. This is fantastic. I'm so happy you're doing this." And then not too long after that, she started getting comments that were, "I showed this to my child, and now he's having nightmares that he might actually not be a boy. So I can't show this to my children anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
Because this has become very damaging for my children. They're having real problems because of this.
Do you think that was real, though?
I saw the post.
Well, I mean, okay, but I mean, like,
so
what they were saying.
call it what you want to call it.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I saw the post. And it was...
Was that you that posted that?
Somebody that posted on video 3 or 4, on video 7 or 8, posted, yeah, this was a really bad idea for me to do to my children. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was the same video.
Yeah.
Further down, and the same people, and you look at these people, and they're not YouTubers, they're normal people. So, and she got so much hate over this. So much hate over this. So many dislikes to like ratio, that now she has disabled all of that. And yet her videos still say, please put in the comments below.
Yeah.
But all of that shit is disabled.
Wow.
That's how much hate this bitch has gotten.
That's
because
crazy.
of these videos. Because of how damaging people think.
Has she made any other videos or anything?
She has made about 15 videos or something like that.
I mean, after this series, though.
This is part of season 1. She goes on to say that this is the first season, like the end of the first season or something like that. But yeah, she's still getting money from people. She's got her own Patreon. She's still getting GoFundMe paid. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly, but she's still getting support from people who think this is a fantastic idea.
Well, I mean, nobody ever went broke by underestimating the American public.